Beast, Texas. We're back, baby.
Summer's over. It's time to lock in.
Forget about last season and prepare to be amazed.
Because here, this is more than just a game. This is everything.
Folks, welcome back Under the Lights.
The Under the Lights Kickoff Show on CBS 19, sponsored by Bill Dickinson Chevrolet.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Under the Lights preseason special. Dan Millay and Cam Williams here, ready to ring in the new football season. Cam, you've been here for a little while, a couple months now, but this is going to be your first season covering Under the Lights, covering Beast Texas football, man. How excited are you for the season to get started?
Dan, I am pumped, stoked, ecstatic, all of the above. You know, there's just something different about when the Friday night lights come on for some football in Beast Texas. The community comes alive. You can feel the excitement in the stands, hear the band, see the student sections decked out, bringing the energy, and you just know after a big touchdown, sack, pick, or hit, something special is going to happen in between those lines. The momentum shift that changes the game in the stadium is infectious. And I've heard for months now how good the Friday night Beast Texas football atmosphere is, but we are finally here, and I can't wait to see it now in real-time action.
Well, before we get into everything that we can look forward to in the big 2026, because there's a lot.
Yeah.
First, we got to look back at the Beast Texas teams that made the trip in 2025 to Jerry World.
Yeah, Dan, there were some teams we're accustomed to seeing in the big game, but also some teams looking to shake that champ game drought.
Well, talking about seeing them being there before, let's talk about the first game. You've heard it many, many times, 11 times now, in fact. Carthage football looked at their 15-1 2025 title run and said, not good enough. So the Bulldogs followed that up by going a perfect 16-0, winning the 4A Division II state title game in dominant fashion, 49-21 over West Orange Stark. And that was just an extension of what Carthage did all season long. Every single one of their wins came by at least 2 scores except for 1. And throughout the playoffs, they outscored their opponents 321-159, an average margin of victory of 27 points per game. Absolutely ridiculous stuff from the greatest of all time, Scott Surratt and his Bulldogs. 11 rings, that just ain't fair.
Now, while Carthage came with all that history behind them, it was a very different story for Joaquin. After an up-and-down 6-4 regular season, the Rams bulldozed their way through the postseason to match up with the Bulldogs of Hamilton in the 2A Division I title game. But in that championship, Joaquin finally ran into a wall as Hamilton came out on top 21-7. And I do mean they ran into a wall. If you remember, all the Rams did was run, and just wear defenses down with an occasional pass here and there to keep the other team honest. The Rams stuck to that game plan in the championship, but a trio of fumbles ultimately did them in. The Rams have some prominent, notable guys returning, though, like Cooper Bragg and Amarion Wilson, so they are looking to run it back, if you will.
Very good, Cam. I'm picking up what you're putting down there. But last but not least, we got to talk about a real heartbreaker. Kilgore appearing in its second straight 4A Division I state championship game, and for the second year in a row, the Bulldogs fall just short, losing to Stephenville 10-0. This was just a defensive slugfest like I had never seen before. And Kilgore's defense had been making it happen throughout the playoffs, allowing just 17 points combined in their previous 5 postseason matchups prior to the title game. And those guys certainly did their job against the Yellow Jackets, but like Joaquin, Kilgore's offense was bit by the turnover bug. Stevensville's defense, nicknamed the War Dogs, forced 4 turnovers while holding a Kilgore offense that came into the game averaging over 40 points per game, completely scoreless. But talking about those Bulldogs, Cam, you had a chance to catch up with Coach Clint Fuller and the Kilgore kids just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Dan, I did. And when I went down to the Dog Pound, they had just finished a tough first week of practice. But let me tell you, this Kilgore football squad is for sure coming different in 2026.
So usually now, nobody really believe in us because we lost so many people. Everybody just think like we just going to move out first round. But I'm telling you, by Thanksgiving, we're going to win them one. I'm telling you.
It's all about redemption in 2026 for Kilgore football. The last 2 Bulldog seasons have ended with heartbreak at AT&T Stadium, 1 game away, twice from winning an illustrious state championship.
It took a little bit of time, first week or two. You're disappointed, but it was a great ride with a great group of people. We learned a lot. We want to be playing our best football in December. I think that's been really the difference between the last 2 years and the previous 3. We kind of plateaued out, towards the end of the district, maybe early in the playoffs. Last 2 years, I think we've gotten better and better every week, all the way through the semifinals into the state championship.
This season, it's all about breaking that state championship hurdle, and head coach Clint Fuller remains optimistic about his team and specifically his new signal call.
I'll start with our quarterback, Braddock Johnson. He's going to be a junior. He's learned behind Kason Brooks. Again, Kason set that standard for how we play the position at Kilgore, and Braddock's has been a sponge for the last 2 years, soaking it up, and now it's his turn, and I know our team and our program is really confident that he's going to have a great year.
And these Dogs are hungry ahead of the August 28th opener against Pleasant Grove, putting last season and everything that happened in the past.
Regardless of the scoreboard, who we're playing, how we feel, what happened last year, and that keeps us moving in the right direction and keeps us hungry to keep improving.
Revenge is on their mind and unfinished business is on the field. Kilgore football, this time they look to finish.
Dan, we both heard it, and I will say it again. Kilgore football is definitely coming back with a vengeance this year.
Hey, you won't catch me betting against Clint Fuller and the Dogs. That team was stacked, though, including with one of our preseason players to watch out from last year, now Texas State wide receiver Laquilion Graves. But with that said, Cam, let's highlight a few more guys that are primed to tear things up here this season under the lights. I want to start right here in the Rose City. Tyler Hyde returned to the playoffs last season for the first time in 4 years, and a big reason why was running back Kadarius McMiller. As a junior, the 4-star Oregon commit rushed for 943 yards with 17 touchdowns on the ground and 3 more through the air. And he's always a threat to get free, scoring a Lions record 6 tutties in 1 game against Seagoville. And call me crazy, but I think the kid could even reach a new level here in his senior season.
I like the pick, Dan, but Coach Rio's got a stud over there at Chapel Hill. 3-star Kansas commit Malik Brown at receiver is my pick. The 6'4", 180-pound senior has the do-it-all package you want as that X-receiver on the outside. He can beat you on the deep ball 50-50 routes, and like you see right here, he can also fly right by you in the blink of an eye. He scored 11 touchdowns last year as a junior. I'm thinking at least 15 plus for his senior campaign.
Now, this next one is interesting. We're talking about the younger brother of an East Texas legend and multiple-time state champ. This is KJ Edwards' little bro, J.D. Edwards. As a sophomore, J.D. hauled in 50 passes for over 730 yards and 6 touchdowns. A lot of those passes were kind of short gains that helped Carthage march down the field, but with Junior Henderson, Carson Crawford, and, of course, big bro KJ all graduating, look for J.D. to pick up some of those scoring opportunities when the Bulldogs do find themselves in the red zone.
My last player to watch is a guy who's got 2 more years of being a Longview Lobo. It's 4-star wide receiver Jaden Herndon. He absolutely torched defenses as a sophomore last season. He had 57 catches for almost 1,100 yards and 14 touchdowns, and those numbers earned him a 2025 Longview News Journal All-East Texas first-team selection. And coming into his junior season, be on the lookout for the breakout wideout, earning that 5th star, along with leading the Lobos back to the usual double-digit win season.
And, folks, we could go on and on about all the talent around East Texas. That's just how it always is here in the Piney Woods. One thing that'll be different this coming season, though, some districts were shaken up by this winter's UIL realignments, and there could be a new district of doom. We'll break it all down after the break. welcome back to the Under the Lights preseason special. As mentioned before the break, we're talking UIL realignment here because what's long been regarded as the toughest district in East Texas, the District of Doom, might have some competition now that things have been shaken up a little bit. So here's the traditional District of Doom. We're all familiar with Lindale, Henderson, Kilgore, Pine Tree, and you can now add Jacksonville and Bullard to that mix as well. A solid group for sure, Cam.
But check out what 4A Division II District 8 looks like now. Carthage, Pittsburgh, Spring Hill, Gilmer, Pleasant Grove, and Center. Man, kind of makes you want to fast forward to the middle of the season so we can see these heavyweights take aim at each other week after week after week.
Absolutely. And now, right off the bat, I feel it's important to point out that this is the only East Texas district with a reigning state champion, of course, in Carthage. And to be completely honest, it doesn't usually matter who's standing in the Bulldogs' way because they're going to run them off the field regardless. I am eager to see how the guys play this season, though, after graduating an historically great senior class that, of course, included KJ Edwards, Jet Surratt, Quee Beck, Carson Crawford, Junior Henderson, and many, many more. The next most recent title winner is Gilmer, who won it all just a few years back in 2023. But what followed that state championship for the Buckeyes was a really solid regular season that ended in a second-round playoff defeat. And last year, it was a regular season record under 500, followed by a first-round postseason L. For a program with as rich a history as Gilmer, last season was like a shock to the system. But Alan Metzel's squad is primed to turn things around, led literally by the flying Frenchman and the Texas commit offensive lineman Ishmael Kamara. The third program among this group to have captured a state championship within the last decade is Pleasant Grove. The Hawks are always good, having won 10 or more games in 4 straight seasons. And the only reason they won, quote-unquote, just 11 games this last year was because they had the unfortunate pleasure of running into Carthage in round 2 of the playoffs. Expect them to be back to their usual winning ways in 2026, though, with QB1 Colt Yancey back for one more go-around in his senior season. Now to a squad that surprised some people in 2025. Pittsburgh finished the regular season with 7 wins, which accounted for more dubs than they had collected in the previous 3 years combined. Similar to Carthage, though, the Pirates were headlined by a couple of guys who've graduated now. QB1 Cord Johnson, who threw for nearly 1,400 yards, and RB1 Lane Hall, who ran for over 700. But keep an eye out downfield when Pitt's driving because their 3 main receivers are all back, including 7 Duffy and his 11 tutties. And while Pittsburgh took a major leap forward last season, Center took a bit of a step back, finishing at 5-6 after going 8-3 in 2024. But despite being a first-round playoff exit against Van, the Rough Riders gave the Vandals everything they could handle and then some, falling by just 2 points, 50-48 in overtime. The good news for Center, quarterback Easton Wolf is back for his senior year after throwing for over 1,200 yards and running for nearly 650 more while finding the end zone 23 times. And finally, the team least excited to be a part of the District of Doom 2.0 has got to be Spring Hill. Not trying to take shots at the Panthers here, but the fact is they haven't had a winning record since 2007. Spring Hill matched up against each of their new district opponents last season except for Carthage, and in those games they lost to Center 62-15, Pleasant Grove 63-0, Gilmer 55-28, and Pittsburgh 52-7. But hey, the offense sure looks good in this one game against Grandview.
Now, a trending topic in the high school sports realm is the ongoing referee shortage for various games around Texas. More than 50 games were moved from Friday nights to Thursdays this season because there weren't enough officials. I talked to varsity assigner Stephen O'Neill, and he says the change is rampant across all East Texas schools. O'Neill says the issue isn't because recruitment is failing, but it's because retention remains a major challenge. He says this year they've got 40 to 50 new officials, but lost 60 to 70 from last year. He says retirement, family commitments, and a negative treatment by coaches, fans, and others during the game is to blame. O'Neill believes higher pay would help attract more officials, but it wouldn't completely solve the retention issue that's affecting these games. He also says that everyone involved needs to have some flexibility for a solution.
I don't think you should be concerned at all. I think you should just be willing to be flexible and know that a game that was originally scheduled on Friday might need to be played on Thursday. And there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, some of the games get better officiating if they're played on Thursday because a game, maybe it's a little bit lower level, might not have gotten a particular crew of guys to come work their game. They move it to Thursday. That opens them up to a lot more crews, and they can sometimes have higher quality officials.
Sounds like it'll be a lot more Thursday games and some new crews as well.
Hey, now not the worst thing in the world for us.
Not
We're
at
gonna
all.
have some Thursday streams this year, and we'll talk about that throughout the season. But up next, we're talking deep Beast Texas bloodlines and roots down in ARP.
Yeah, Dan, I got the chance to talk to some Tiger players that have some long-lasting legacies. Don't go anywhere.
The Under the Lights Kickoff Show on CBS 19, sponsored by Bill Dickinson Chevrolet.
The pipeline for Beast Texas football talent runs deep, folks. Various names like Patrick Mahomes, Earl Campbell, and Adrian Peterson all come to mind. But what about the bloodlines that spread throughout programs spanning for decades upon decades, with the new generation now taking the reins?
Building a legacy for family is everything, and the Tigers down in ARP have a deep tradition of historic bloodlines that's seen generations on generations of players wear the Tiger jersey and take the same field as their relatives once did.
Well, almost all my life I've been going to ARP, and my family, I think they've all been through the ARP school program. And my brother, Tyrone, he came to ARP and he went and played for Baylor. And then my brother Jacoby, he played at ARP. My brother Chris, my dad, my sister. It makes me proud.
And the same message is being passed down to ARP sophomore running back Tanner Hunt.
Just go out there and be him and do your thing.
In sports and just in life, you want to do any and everything you can to make your family proud. And it means a lot to ARP junior tight end Trip Direct.
It means a lot. I try to look up to my dad. Try to be like him as much as I can sometimes, so I try to follow in his footsteps almost. Both my parents played for ARP. My dad was a quarterback for ARP. My expectations for myself is just to help the team as much as possible, and for the team, I think we have a really good team. I think we could go pretty far.
The head man in charge, Wes Schminke, understands the lineage and knows the players take pride in it.
Yeah, there's a few kids we got, like I said, that they've had relatives come to this program right here on some very successful teams and stuff. So it's kind of a, they want to live up to they want to try to live up to what the other people have done before them.
Some programs build a tradition, others are born into one. Here in ARP, football runs deep. Players carry the pride, the memories, and the standard every single day. Because when you wear the ARP maroon and white, you're not just playing for today, you're carrying what came before you.
It was super cool getting to chat with some of ARP's top talent, and it's clear the football family lineage down there just means more.
Yeah, I love it, Cam. Up next, we're talking preseason Fab 15. We're almost done here on the preseason special, but not quite yet. We'll see y'all after the break. Folks, our time here on the Under the Lights preseason special has almost run out. But before we go, we got to talk preseason Fab 15 because the Friday Night Lights are almost back. And across Beast Texas, the countdown to another season of big hits, big plays, and big-time rivalries is officially underway.
We are talking the teams that we believe are ready to make some big-time noise when the lights come on. Here's your Beast Texas preseason Fab 15.
All right, we got preseason ranking, last year's record, then last year's final ranking, and we're starting with the big schools, 6A, 5A, 4A. First, it's Carthage in the 1 spot, and that's obvious. Kilgore still getting some love at number 2. A lot of people banking on a Longview bounce back. They're 3. Texas High's at the 4 spot after a surprising second-round playoff exit last year, and off a banner year, Lindale cracks the top 5. Moving right along, Pleasant Grove representing for Texarkana at number 6. Tied with them there is Sulphur Springs. From deep East Texas, Lufkin begins the year in the 8th slot. Athens gets the 9 after a stellar season. Marshall lands in the top 10 as well at number 10. And we got a couple teams that weren't a part of last year's final rankings here in Tyler High at 11 and Gilmer at 12. Pine Tree begins 2026 where they finished 2025 at 13. Chapel Hill slips all the way to 14, and Canton rounds out our big schools at 15.
To our 3A, 2A, and TAPS teams now, Troops running it back at number 1, Westwood right behind at 2. The resurgent Gladewater Bears break in at 3, while Malakoff looks to shake off a tough season at 4, and Jefferson finds its way to the 5 spot. ARP and their Beast Texas Bloodlines just missed out on the top 5, while their second-round playoff opponent, Dangerfield, lands at 7. Edgewood off at 10 when Season comes in at number 8 with a pair of 11-win teams, and Frankston and Joaquin following right behind. Finally, we wrap things up with Winsboro at 11, Elysian Fields at 12, and St. Augustine at 13. Mount Enterprise drops from the 2 spot in last year's final ranking down to 14, with Kagan Ash now at Texas Tech, and Honey Grove sneaks in at 15.
Well, I can't wait to see how those change throughout the season. I always love to compare preseason to the final week.
Yeah.
A lot of things are going to shake up. But Cam, are you ready? Man, because I am.
Yes, sir. You know it. It's going to be awesome. Great talent all throughout the region, and I'm pumped to cover some big-time East Texas talent each Friday night.
And we hope that you'll join us each and every Friday night. The kickoff show at 6:30, and then we'll have Under the Lights, all the highlights from 10 to 10:30 here on CBS 19, and then 10:30 to 11 on CBS 19+. But until then, we'll see y'all under the lights.